Good morning and good Erev Shabbos. A lot of things going on in this week's Parsha. Parshas Tetzave. It's amazing. Today is Erev Shabbos, Parshas Tetzave. It is also Zayin Adar. Moshe Rabbeinu's Yartzeit. Hi. Moshe Rabbeinu's Yartzeit, Zayin Adar. And of course, it's well known, the Baal Turim points out, that in Parshas Tetzave, Moshe Rabbeinu's name is not mentioned once. But we get to have a good opportunity to focus on Moshe Rabbeinu on Erev Shabbos. The day before, his name is not mentioned a single time in the Torah. Something to think about. I want to talk about something else. Besides there being Parshas Tetzave, it is also Parshas Zochar. Amazing, amazing, amazing Shabbos. Zochar, you're supposed to remember all the terrible, terrible things that Amalek did to us. Some Sfarim say you're supposed to remember it in order to obliterate them, in order to wipe them out. The two mitzvahs interconnected. One mitzvah to remember and another mitzvah to destroy them. Two separate mitzvahs. If you can move over here, please move over there right now. Thank you. So, yes. To be able to have a mitzvah to obliterate somebody. Obliterate someone. There's a pasuk in Parshas Vayera, a few parshas ago. In Parshas Vayera is the Akedah. You know the Akedah? Avram Avinu, his one and only child, the child that he loved. Hashem tells him, take the child and sacrifice him. Or bring him up as an oiler, rather. Pasuk says in Paragraph Beis, Pasuk Gimel, says the Torah, says the Eibishter in the Torah, Vayashkim Avram Aboker, Avram got up in the morning, Vayachavoish es chamoiroi. He loaded up his donkey. You know how rich Avram Avinu was? Avram Avinu put Elon Musk to shame. Yeah, he was very, very rich. He was the richest person in his time, the richest person in the entire world. A very rich guy. You think Elon Musk, you think when he's ready to make when he wants a tuna sandwich, you think he goes to the kitchen, gets his tuna sandwich ready, the bread, the tuna, mixes the tuna with the mayo, puts it all together, puts it on side, squishes it, cuts it. You think he does any of that? Of course not. He has some guy in the kitchen who gets paid to take care of that type of stuff, right? When he probably doesn't even drive his own car. He only drives his car when he wants people to see that he's driving a Tesla in order for people to buy Teslas. But the guy doesn't take care of himself. I'd be surprised if he knows how to tie his own shoes. Right? So much sure he has some guy who comes up, yes, Mr. Musk, shoe one, okay, shoe number two. I'm sure he does his left shoe before his right shoe. But the point is that he doesn't take care of himself. And here we have Mr. Billionaire himself, Avram Avinu. He's loading up his own donkey. Why does he have to do that? I'm sure he has some schlepper. You know who his schlepper was? Eliezer. He had Nacha schlepper, Yishmael, exactly. He can get these two guys. They can take care of him. That's ridiculous. Why is he taking care of it? It says Rashi. He did it on his own. Oh, not even Eliezer. He had a whole bunch of slaves, maybe 318, tons of slaves. He did not command a single one of them to do it. You know, sometimes you ask somebody to do something, they don't listen, so then you do it on your own. Right? You tell your kids, you ask somebody a Talmud, you ask, usually nowadays, unfortunately, the kids are asking their parents to do something for them. Yeah, so you ask them to do something on your behalf, they don't listen. Okay, I'll do it on my own. Shuffle, 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 I'll take care of that. Now, Avinu never even asked. Why not? She'ha'ava mekalkeles hashura. Because love destroys the normal and proper way to do things. He was so in love with Hashem. It transformed him. It made him do something totally out of character, totally abnormal, totally inappropriate. It wasn't the proper thing to do for Avram Avinu to be the one to go to this stinky, smelly donkey, take all... Debbie, have you ever been to a donkey? Have you ever hung out with a donkey?
No.
No, but I can assure you, they don't smell great. I went on a camel. You ever go on a camel? Or a horse? These things, they don't smell. They can shampoo them, they smell really bad. I'm going to have to go up to this donkey and take all of those bags and put it on top. This is disgusting stuff. But ha'ava mekalkeles hashura. When you love someone, you act pretty crazy. Love makes you crazy. Love makes you crazy. You know what the Jewish people do for love? What did the Jewish people do for love? The Jewish people, anything Hashem wants. We do it because we love Hashem. We're willing to we're willing to wake up early in the morning to come daven in yeshiva for the love that we have for Hashem. He loves us so much. He takes care of us. He gave us our hair, our fingernails, our toes, our shoes, our car, the gas in our car, the fact that our car is strong enough even to be able to take a bang from the back. He makes it all strong. He took care of everything. He got you your sweatshirt, your sweater, all the different colors. He makes your eyes work to see the beautiful colors of the whole universe, and sweatshirts and hoodies. Alle get Zakheim. And we love him back. We're willing to do everything for Hashem, even when it's crazy. Crazy. You know what's crazy people do for Hashem? People are crazy enough to die on behalf of Hashem. Do it for him. I've mentioned this before. My father had a worker who worked for him. His name was, I'm sure he's not alive anymore. If he's out there listening to the shmooze, then he should definitely call us because I'd love to speak to him. But his name was Tony Iacona. Tony Iacona. Tony Iacona was a usher in Shea Stadium. Okay, an usher is the guy you give the tickets to, and he goes, went down the aisles. Oh, here you go, here's your seat. He was an usher in Shea Stadium on Sundays. The rest of the week, Tony Iacona drove an ambulette in the company that my father worked with. He drove a little thing that was his job. Now, he wasn't so great at his job. Okay, so he didn't really end up usually driving anyone in that van. It was the oldest, most decrepit van in the entire company, but Tony Iacona drove it. And Tony Iacona was an Italian guy, as you can imagine. In fact, I remember one time there was a mafia bust in an office right next door to my father's office. Not an office, actually a chop shop, a yard. And they were looking for the Italian kingpin of this whole chop shop. They saw Tony Iacona. They figured it was him. They came into the office, FBI with guns, everything to try to catch. It definitely wasn't him. If you knew him, unlikely he was a mafia kingpin. Why am I telling you about Tony Iacona? Because Tony Iacona had a friend. His friend died. So my father was a person who really liked to make a Kiddush Hashem and everything. So he named one of the ambulances in that company after Tony Iacona's friend. Wow. When Tony saw this, he loved my father. My father didn't really like his English name, but his English name was Steve. Not really, it wasn't Steve. The name that he used was Steve. And after that, Tony Iacona would say how much he loved Steve. I love the guy. I love the guy. I love the guy. And the greatest, highest level of love that he could ever have for the guy is, I'd take a bullet for him. I'd take a bullet for that guy. I'd die for him. When you're Italian, that means something because it's a practical, no offense, but it is a practical opportunity. I'd take a bullet for the guy. That's what Tony Iacona said. Ha'ava mekalkeles hashura. Love makes you say crazy things, makes you do crazy things. Willing to take a bullet for another guy. By the way, he says all the time, you meet him, I take a bullet for the guy. Apparently, there's a lot of guys out there willing to shoot a gun, and he's willing to take every shot. Yeah, you have these people who work for the Secret Service, for the president. They literally want to take a bullet, except when the one time we see a president shot, they didn't take a bullet for him, but they are ready to take a bullet for the president. They will jump in front. Okay, if the president is 6'4", perhaps they should get taller people to stand in front of him. That said, they're willing to take a bullet for the guy. Why are they willing to do it? Not necessarily because they love the president, but because they love the office of the president. They love the United States. Willing to take a bullet. Ha'ava mekalkeles hashura. I'll tell you something fantastic, something incredible. The idea that if you love someone or you love something, you're willing to die for that thing, that is actually not so unique. It is not so unique. It happens in society. It happens around. You can have people who are willing, I'll die on his behalf. A mother, tragically, will be willing to go in front of her child to protect that child from a bullet. Protect that child from any angry person who's trying to attack the children. A father will do that for his children. A husband will do it for a wife will do it for a husband. Love, dying on behalf of somebody else. People will do that for other people. There was one nation on earth that came up with something else. They said, love, dying for somebody that you love, that's nothing special. I'm willing to die for someone that I hate. I'm willing to die because I hate that guy so much. I'm willing to blow myself up to show how much I hate these people. And that was Amalek. Amalek came up with this idea. The Jewish people, they stand against everything I believe in. I hate them. And even though I know going up against the Jews means being totally decimated and obliterated, totally wiped off the face of the earth, I'm willing to do it because I hate them so much. When the Jewish people came out of Mitzrayim, the whole entire planet knew that Hashem, and you can go look at every history book on planet Earth, they knew that Hashem destroyed the entire Egyptian economy, the Egyptian people, every single one, Midah Keneged Midah, in miraculous event after event after event, 10 times. They get to Yam Suf, the whole world is trembling. We say it every single day in davening. The whole world was trembling because they knew you don't start up with these people. These people are dangerous. These people are God's chosen people. I was once walking in Philadelphia. This guy screams at me, "You know you're the chosen people." I said, "I know." The guy screams at him, "You're the chosen people." Everybody knows. But Amalek says, because of hate, I am willing to die to destroy these people. Because they stand against what I believe in. Chosen people, there ain't no chosen people on planet Earth. No. Don't start with this mishigas. There's no chosen people on planet Earth. I am willing to die to make a statement. That was the chiddush of Amalek. Person, a country, people willing to die for hate. There's a person who represents Amalek. There's a person who represents Amalek in Parshas Balak. We see that the anti-Avraham, the pasuk says about Bilam, Vayakom Bilam baboiker, Vayachavoishes asaynai. He also loaded up his donkey. And says Rashi, Mikan from here, Shahasinam mekalkelas ashur. You can have hate that makes people do crazy things. Hate. Some say, Bilam. What does Bilam have to do with Amalek? Svarim HaKadoshim say that Bilam and Balak, the two of them, the last letters of their names, spell out Amalek. Bilam is Ayin Mem, and Balak is Lamed Kuf, Amalek. But there's an idea that they had something in them that says, I hate. When I was younger, and when the Rebbes were younger, almost nobody, would buy a Mercedes. Correct? You knew such people. Buy a Mercedes. A BMW. You don't buy a BMW. You don't buy a Mercedes. Why not? And it wasn't just that. It was some other things too. Bayer, the medicine. You don't use Bayer. There's like a competitor with Tylenol. You don't use Bayer. Why not? What's the difference? Because it was the Nazis that made those cars. But it wasn't a Nazi that made this Mercedes. I mean, unless it's a really old Mercedes. But if it's not a very old Mercedes, it wasn't a Nazi who made this car, or a BMW, or made this medication. What's so bad? Because for years after the Holocaust, a person was imbued with hate. I hate the Nazis. I hate them. I can't imagine getting into a Mercedes, a BMW. I can't imagine getting to, because I hate them so much. But it doesn't make any sense. Hasinom mikalkeles hashura. They are Amalek. And our response to Amalek was, you're going to die for hating me. I hate you. People say there's not enough. People don't care about each other. People don't care about each other enough anymore. It is true. But people also don't hate each other enough anymore. Where's all the hate? Real hate. You have people who don't like each other. It's not even they don't like each other. You have people that literally just mistreat each other. They don't think enough. They talk. They say nasty things. They lack the ability to filter out their thought process, to be able to say the right things and the wrong things. It's a sad thing. They actually don't dislike people. They simply don't care about people. But there was a time, not too long ago, when you had Nazis, the Nazis, you said that. It comes out of your mouth like you're spitting. Nazi. Look at the politics nowadays that they compare world leaders. Oh, this one's another Hitler. A Yid doesn't even say the word Hitler without saying Yimach Shemai V'Zichrei. Hitler, Yimach Shemai V'Zichrei. I had a Rebbe, Rabbi Zakheim Kaplan, Zecher Tzadik Levracha. When he would talk about a church, you could feel 500 years of crusades burning through the man. And he would say, a cloister. That's what he would say. He wouldn't just say, it's a church there. There was 500 years of hate in that. Because you've got to recognize evil. Amalek is an opportunity once a year just to wake up and recognize there's evil in the world. When you say V'la Malshinim, Al Tisek, you don't say V'la Malshinim. Okay, when you say V'la Minim, you say whatever it is you say in that bracha, Al Tisikva, V'chol Risha Kerega Tayvit, you say that Hashem should wipe out evil. Do you really feel that way? You really want? I'm telling you, when I look at that, when I look in a siddur and I say V'la Malshinim Al Tisikva, V'chol Risha Kerega, you know what I think? When I say V'chol Risha Kerega Tayvit, I think YouTube. I really do. Hashem should destroy YouTube, and he should destroy Apple, and he should destroy all these companies which are destroying the neshamas of the Jewish people. That's what I think. Because I hate them. They're killing our people. When a person is unbothered by Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, Snapchat, when a person is unbothered, it's because they lack a sensitivity of how many Yidden they have killed, murdered, made it that they can't have happy families. They can't raise their children right. They don't know what happiness really is anymore. They've convinced you the world is meaningless. We don't hate enough. Love every single Yid. Of course you love. I love every single one of you more than life itself. But don't forget to hate. You need to be a passionate person, a person who actually has feelings, who recognize there are evil people in the world who want to kill us. I hate to say it, but when 9/11 happened, I know it was before all of you were born, when 9/11 happened, and they did that terrible thing, of course it was shocking. Of course it was shocking. But did I really hate Osama bin Laden? Did I really hate him? I don't know I hated him so much. Of course I recognize he was a terrible human being, a terrorist. Perhaps it was only at the point when somebody told me, whether I believe it or not, when somebody told me that my father's death was contributed to the attacks on 9/11, the attacks on the Twin Towers, that the reason why he died, perhaps, is because he was poisoned by the air that was put into the atmosphere by the attack of Osama. Perhaps only at that point did I really start feeling it hit close to home. Osama bin Laden, I hate the guy, Yimach Shemai V'Zichrei, a murderer. But we don't feel things nowadays. Parshas Zakheim says, Hashem said to you, these people were attacking you. It's interesting, Sfarim HaKadoshim write that if you look in the pasuk, it doesn't say it in the plural. It's Machai Timche. You should destroy Amalek. Zachar is Ashar also Lecha Amalek. Remember what Amalek did to you. What he did to you and he did to you. Not Zachar as Ashar saw Lachem Amalek. What Hashem did to the Jewish people at large. Hashem wants us to remember Amalek is hurting every single one of us. And I'll give you just a little picture of it. Can you imagine the world if the Nazis had not done what they did between 1939 and 1945? Can you imagine what the world possibly could have looked like? The millions and millions of Jews that would be around nowadays, the cousins that everyone would have, the great-grandparents you might have met, the huge families that people would have had. Can you imagine a world like that? And each one of those family trees taken away from you, from your family, from your collective memory. In our families, many of us, the names that we have are a memory of Holocaust, of people who didn't survive the Holocaust. I have an uncle, he has Kanai Nahar, 10 boys and 3 girls. Each one of them is named after another relative that was killed in the Holocaust. Can you imagine? Zocher es asher asa l'cha, like what I'm elected to you. You have to feel alive. People do not get true emotion nowadays. People feel uncomfortable. Rabbi Milstein's father, Zol Gesundsein, often gives over the classes of Rav Noach Weinberg. The idea of the opposite of happiness, or the opposite of pleasure, or the opposite of comfort. People are very, very troubled by not feeling comfortable, and they complain about something that's uncomfortable. Discomfort is something people complain about, but they don't actually complain about being unhappy because they don't have feelings anymore. Who feels anything? I'll tell you when I felt something. Besides for when we went yesterday to the Living Torah Museum, seeing Rabbi Deutsch crying. I've been by the museum 25 times, at least. But when I saw the Rabbi Deutsch yesterday crying from the story that he was saying over, how a boy was inspired by a boulder that Shua was holding. But a boy was inspired by a boulder to recognize that I should never give up on myself, and therefore he didn't give up when he had cancer. And Rabbi Deutsch cried when he danced by that boy's chasana. I'm trying to think, something that made me extremely happy this year. On the Shabbaton on Friday night, Yosef Batur made a siyum that he worked on. The feeling after the siyum, with the guy, I don't think I've ever been by a siyum where guys were jumping up and down b'simcha so much. I look back at the Shabbaton, I look back at this year, and I'm thinking about the great joy. In just a moment, we exploded, with a joy, an excitement, a feeling of, yes, he finished the Masechta. I'm so proud of him he finished the Masechta. He's my friend who had a huge simcha. He did something incredible, and we're a part of that. Where is your actual feelings? Are you alive inside? Are you passionate inside? Do sad things bother you and do happy things make you glad? Do you jump for joy? Purim is coming. It's a Yom Tov of Simcha. We had beautiful speeches this week. Yeah, from the 12th graders. And Be'ez Hashem, the rest of the yeshiva should jump up and speak this week. But we had beautiful speeches this week about Simcha, jumping for joy. Simcha comes from the same word as tzemach. Tzemach means to grow. Like Natanel tzemach, it means to sprout. To grow. Simcha is like that. It grows. You ever see fireworks? What happens if it goes up and then that is Simcha. First it starts, and then it explodes in joy. Simcha, it's the same source, the same root of the word. To be able to explode in joy. When a person feels that way, and a person gets full of simcha, and he's not dead inside, then you're able to mekayim this mitzvah properly. Hate evil. Love joy. Be full of simcha. Be'ez Hashem, Shabbos should be a time where every single person is full of simcha. Simcha of zmiros, simcha of chalent, simcha of family, Be'ez Hashem. You should enjoy a beautiful week. Mekayim mitzvah of zachar. Es Hashem, Be'ez Hashem.